With the bike inverted or on a work stand, use a 3mm hex wrench to loosen and remove the front fender stay mounting bolt and nut on each side. Remove both of the fender stay brackets that attach to the fork lowers using a 3mm hex wrench as well. Use a 4mm hex wrench to remove the bolt securing the upper fender bracket to the fork brace. Remove the fender. Use a 6mm hex wrench to turn counterclockwise and remove the front through axle. Then remove the front wheel from the fork. Use a 5mm hex wrench to remove the two front brake caliper mounting bolts. Remove the front brake hose from the cable guide on the fork. Use a 4mm hex wrench to loosen and remove the headlight pivot bolt. Remove the headlight from the bracket. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the bolt from the stem cable cover. Remove the cable cover. Use a 4mm hex wrench to loosen both of the stem clamping bolts. Remove the stem rubber grommet and then use a 5mm hex wrench to loosen the stem preload bolt until the stem can be released. Lift the fork up and out of the frame. Lift off the crown race from the fork's steerer tube. Swap the fork. Reinstall the crown race onto the new fork's steerer tube. Use a star nut setter tool and install a new star nut into the fork's new steerer tube. Guide the fork into the head tube of the bike. Be sure to use your other hand to retain upper headset assembly while the fork is installed. If the upper headset assembly comes off, guide the upper headset bearing over all of the cables coming from the head tube and press the bearing into place with the chamfered side touching the frame. Follow up with the compression ring. Note: Assembly grease added to the head tube can help retain the bearing during this step. Lastly, guide the dust cover back onto the head tube. While keeping the cables oriented forward, press the dust cover flush against the head tube of the bike. Guide the stem back onto the steerer tube and use a 5mm hex wrench to thread on the stem compression bolt. Continue to tighten the bolt until the stem is fully seated. Ensure the headset is properly preloaded while ensuring there is still good movement in the steering. With the cables routed into the headlight bracket as shown, reinstall the headlight and headlight pivot bolt using a 4mm hex wrench. Feed any cables back into the cable cover. Reinstall the stem cable cover and mounting bolt using a 2.5mm hex wrench. Guide the front wheel back into the dropouts of the fork. Apply a thin layer of grease to the through axle and insert it into the fork and wheel hub. Use a 6mm hex wrench to turn the through axle clockwise until it is snug. Torque to 10 to 15 Newton meters. Snap the front brake hose back into the cable guide and run the caliper around the inside of the fork lowers as shown. Reinstall the front brake caliper in 2 bolts using a 5mm hex wrench. Tighten until snug, then back each bolt off about 1 full turn. While looking through the window of the brake caliper, tighten the 2 bolts while ensuring the rotor is centered between the brake pads. Torque the bolts to 9 to 12 Newton meters. Spin the front wheel to ensure the brake does not rub. Adjust the caliper or true the rotor if necessary. Position the front fender to the fork and replace the upper fender bracket mounting bolt. Tighten until snug with a 4mm hex wrench. Using a 3mm hex wrench, reinstall the fender stay brackets to both fork legs and then reinstall the fender stays to the brackets with the bolt and nut on each side. With the bike upright, align the handlebars with the front wheel. Use a 5mm hex wrench to thread on the stem compression bolt. Continue to tighten the bolt until the stem is fully seated. Replace the rubber grommet, and then use a 4mm hex wrench to tighten the stem clamping bolts and alternate between the two while torquing them to 8 to 10 Newton meters. Test the bike for proper operation.